Welcome to Good News. Every week I'll be riding here, there and everywhere to find stories that will make you laugh. Did you see the footage of the Red Arrows retirement home? Wonderful, isn't it? Did you see John Craig talking about his ultimate fantasy?
A gay couple in a B&B.
This week we learn what Natasha Kaplinsky does to relax.
Marijuana is lovely.
So, the election campaign has finally kicked off. I'll tell you, people will do anything to get out talking about it.
Who do you trust to get a bit more out of the public sector when there's not so much money around, Labour or the Tories?
Oh, Labour. Oh, it's our bods. We've been waiting
So, what have the leaders been up to? Cameron started by giving advice to DJs.
Just bang out the old tunes.
Brown, I think you saw this, Brown got slammed by former Labour leader Neil Kinnock.
Of course, Gordon has got a radio face.
That's pretty rich coming from a bald, ginger Welshman. Now, because I work for the BBC, I need to mention all three political parties. With that in mind, here's Nick Clegg.
Hello, I'm Nick Clegg.
So actually, he got caught this week for graffiti.
Would you encourage young people to write on walls like that, Mr. Clegg? You don't have an answer to that, do you?
So busty, that. It could have been worse. Did you see what happened to the Scottish Labour candidate, Stuart McLennan?
The campaign claimed its first victim today, a Labour candidate sacked over offensive comments he made on Twitter.
Stuart McLennan referred to the elderly as coffin dodgers and wrote he hadn't been sober for days.
My favourite was his comment about David Cameron.
It was his patriotic duty to kick Cameron in the nuts.
Can you imagine him in the House of Commons? Could you tell the right honourable gentleman that he could suck my fucking balls? And claim it on expenses. Now, last week I told you about election crisp. Well, this week it gets even weirder.
With a piglet race. Competitors, Gordon, David and Nick, are doing daily races right up until polling day on May the 6th.
This piglet is David because he's a much better example of a British saddleback than the other two. Definitely the guy that's going to go to Eton. We call him Gordon because he actually started biting us in the leg.
I think there's going to be people at home, I couldn't understand the election, but now they've used pigs. And I like bacon. Talking of banality, have you seen who Radio 1 are using to get young people voting?
Hiya, I'm Peter Todd, I'm 23, and I'm also a first-time voter.
Seems normal. I wonder what her day job is. That's right, she's a page 3 girl. I love the fact some Radio 1 bigwig went, right, we need to get kids interested in politics. Jugs. Have you seen the report? How thick do they think kids are?
Get online and type in how to vote.
Thank you! Online how to vote. Before it was such a mystery. But how will I find a polling station?
Keep your eyes peeled for big signs like this that say polling station.
So, Radio 1 went for Tay Bojangles. Check out who the Tories used to get the kid vote.
I'm here to represent young people.
Michael Caine is 77 years old. Who are they going to get to represent old people? Iggle Piggle. Caine was brilliant. At one point, he described how he likes his porn.
Very, very hardcore.
Then he went on to say why him and 50 Cent don't get on.
I didn't have drugs, and I didn't have guns.
I don't want to go to the bloody candy shop. So, what was he actually there to promote?
All 16-year-olds would be able to do 2 months community work in the summer.
The Tories want 16-year-olds to work for free this summer. Madness. It's a World Cup year. Do you want to watch Lionel Messi or clean out a canal? The only kids who will volunteer will be dicks, let's call it. The kind of kid who, aged 12, says things like, well, it's good for the CV. Oh, I can play the recorder to grade 8. You're going to die alone. The quest for the youth vote is relentless. Look who Tunbridge Wells have turned to.
With an election just round the corner, Tunbridge Wells Borough Council has turned to 2 internet rappers for help.
They've asked rappers to write a song that will make kids vote. How patronising's that? What were they expecting? Well, I wasn't going to vote, but then they heard the words rhyme, and now I's a Tory! Rhyming words doesn't make you do things. Otherwise, I'd regularly creep up to people going, if you want more sex and you want to stay thin, then slam your dick in a wheelie bin. Make him stop! Make him stop! The words rhyme! The words rhyme!
Let's hope their tongue-in-cheek style will catch the attention of potential young voters.
Golly Gosh say friends are already registering to vote after listening to their unique Tunbridge Wells groove.
They're called Golly Gosh. You can't be a rapper and call yourself Golly Gosh. That sounds like something Boris Johnson shouts when he comes. If you want to get kids interested in the election, use technology. Make it possible to vote on Facebook. Actually, scrap that. That's a bad idea. It would. Before you know it, this guy would be Prime Minister.
Simples.
So, what else has been going down?
The Duchess of Cornwall is recovering after breaking her left leg while out hill walking in Scotland.
Don't laugh. Poor Camilla's broken her leg. We've actually got footage of her being airlifted to safety. You should have seen my mum's reaction. She was injured hill walking. Well, if you walk like Benny Hill, you will hurt yourself. That's right, my mum genuinely thought that hill walking meant Camilla was doing this. Apparently, she caught her foot in a rabbit hole. I bet Diana was sat in a cloud cackling, "Well dug, my pretties." Well done.
Now, she's in a plaster cast, and she's going to be in that cast for 6 weeks, and doctors have advised her not to put any weight on her left leg.
Led up for 6 weeks, she's going to be watching a lot of this. She could watch it with the Queen. The Queen, massive fan of Countdown. Makes sense. Of course the Queen loves Countdown. She hasn't got a job. I bet they all play it. I bet Charles is there go, "Look, Mummy, I've got a good 9-letter word. Abdicates." "Oh, really? I've got a good 14-letter word. Eat shit jug ears." I bet they're all like that. I bet Philip's in the background. "I've got Fuzzy Wuzzy. Look, I've got Fuzzy Wuzzy." "What have you got, Harry?" "I've got ganja." "The letters aren't there. The letters aren't there." "No, I'm just saying I've got ganja." "Ease off, Ginge. The Grand National's on."
The champion jockey Tony McCoy has finally won the Grand National at his 15th attempt. The joint favourite, Don't Push It, carried him to victory over the famous Aintree course this afternoon.
Oh, I love the Grand National. It's one of the few days of the year when you get to feel like a real man, isn't it? I'm going down to bookies to put some money on an horse. Then I'm going to come back and make you pregnant. That's right. You're dealing with a real man. And then you get into the bookies, and it's absolutely terrifying, isn't it? Huge men, made to look even bigger because they're holding tiny pens. The pens are like that. "I should be working in Argos." It's terrifying. You're surrounded by these Goliaths, and what you do, you try and put on a manly voice, but all that topples out of your mouth, "Good day, sir. I'm here to put some money on a horsey-worsey." "Do you want it each way?" "Ooh, do the horses come back?"